Welcome back to another episode of Millennial Island. We're so excited for this episode. Oh my gosh, manifesting friendships.
This is a really special episode for both Megs and I because honestly, friendships, making friends in your 30s.
In your adult life, even, you know, when it's not just hometown friends that you were friends with because you were in the same grade and same class, like making friends because you have similar interests and desires.
Absolutely. And that's just it. I think especially now, it's so common for us to not necessarily have the same friends as we're in high school because we move. You know, if you are like getting into relationships where it might take you somewhere else, that can be like a deterrent for someone because they're like, oh no, I have to start over again. I have to start over making these friendships. I haven't had to make friendships or pursue friendships in my adult life. It can honestly be like a really, really scary first step for some people.
And I feel like why I found it always easy to manifest friendships was because I moved to different cities. So I was forced to make friends. And I find people who are living in their hometown don't have more of that opening to need to make new friends because they're just friends with their friends. I mean, like even now in Victoria, my capacity of friendships is like full. Like I understand why they say it's cliquey and hard to make friends in Victoria, but why that is I really felt into that. It's because most people stay in Victoria and they stay friends with their hometown friends.
Absolutely. We live in one of the most beautiful places in Canada. Like it's not a city that very many people
leave.
A city, island, it's like
it has it all.
It has it,
like,
honestly.
It makes sense why people don't want to leave. And then when you find your friend group here, you find your friend group. And not to say that our friend group isn't inclusive because we really, really are. But my tight friendships, inner circle, it's full. I don't have the bandwidth and capacity to go search out for that.
Absolutely.
Whereas when I first moved here, I did. I was like, I have openings for all best friends, close friends, different dynamic of friendships.
Yes. And I think it also comes down to not only like who's within your community. That is how Megs and I met. We met through the gym community, the same gym that we both went to. Well, you went to and I trained at, or continue to train at. And that's just it. Like, it's not necessarily about like, oh, if you join the gym, all of a sudden you're part of that community. It actually comes down to like your connection with that person and how they fit into your life. Do they give you what you're searching for in that moment? I mean, at the time, we weren't necessarily searching. I mean, I would say I was searching for friends, but were you searching for friends?
I manifested such a big girl group and like great friendships that maybe that's why I wasn't super warm to Jules when I first met her. I don't know. I think this is interesting because definitely one of my best friends, soul sister. It's an incredible, beautiful connection and relationship, but it wasn't instant. And the relationship became instant, like how close we got. But at first we kind of like gave each other like the side eye. Like it wasn't instant that way.
I can't even tell you what exactly it was. Part of me thinks it was, I was in a very new environment. I walked into a gym where I could see that there were very close friendships already formed. And so even though I guess I wasn't necessarily manifesting friends at that time, it's like I saw all these people like clicking together and I saw how close they were. And so it was definitely a little bit intimidating for me to try and look for friends within that group because a lot of times you see that from the outside and you're like, okay, well, they're click, they're all set.
Right, but what a limiting way to look at close friendships, being like, that's cliquey. That's not cliquey. They click together. There's a difference between clicking together and being cliquey.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's just it. I honestly do think it was a mixture of like my own insecurities, and then we're both big energy feelers. So when I had that like anxiety, that nervous feeling, she very much, not knowing who she was with her energy, she very much felt that from me. And so we just kind of had this like
repelling a bit until like both walls came down and we really saw each other, and we went on a hike and it was love ever since.
Yes.
Like literally.
Even before that though, it wasn't even us who naturally like ended up like, yes, you pursued it after that point, but it was actually a mutual friend of ours who was like, hey, we're all going out for girls' night, but we're going to Megs's place first to talk. And I was like, does Megs even know I'm coming? Like, I'm like, this girl doesn't even like me. She's not going to allow me in her house.
I remember that night and I was like, I need to make a point to get to know Jules more that night. And I made sure I sat with you on the couch right next to you so I could get to know you. And then after that was like, okay, let's have more one-on-one time together.
Exactly. It was like that particular conversation and the conversation after when we had girls' nights, we were both like, okay. She's like, not the girl I thought she was at the gym. And then from that point on, you pursued, and then both
I am
walls
a pursuer.
you are a pursuer.
And that's the thing
I am
when
not.
you and that is the thing though, when you are navigating new friendships. Jules made a really good point before we were filming or recording the podcast, and she was saying some people go in with like, oh, it's like dating, it's gonna be heavy and it's gonna take so long to get to know someone. Honestly, adult friendships, the right energetic match where you're on the same vibe, frequency, interest, desires, like Jules very similar and different at the same time, but it's so easy to click with someone on that same vibe and who's your energetic match. It's not draining. And if you go in with that mindset like, oh, it's going to be so hard to make friends and to get to know someone, that's not truth. That's not the case. You will notice that it's so different when you are making new friendships as an adult. They transcend, they unfold so much faster.
They do. And I think where that energy kind of comes from is within yourself and your own insecurities and not wanting to pull those walls down. And I remember feeling that getting to know the group of girls that we have. And sometimes I still feel that way. It's just like if you're not a naturally vulnerable person, which most of us are not all of us, but definitely most of us find it very difficult to show those raw sides of ourselves.
That's how you connect.
But that is how you connect. And so the energy that goes into like having to think about being vulnerable and opening up can definitely be an overwhelming thought. But if you just let yourself feel into it and let it unfold naturally, then honestly, then it like you said, it unfolds very fast.
Very fast. And look inside yourself of what insecurities, where you don't feel like you belong. Like you bring your belonging to every group, every conversation, every situation. And that's what I did pursuing friendships, and where I felt the energy of people I wanted to get to know, I pursued. I asked them like, let's go for coffee, let's do this, and put myself in the conversation. So I met a lot of wonderful girls and females at our gym where I could have just gone in the corner and not brought my belonging and was like, I have something to say, I can be a part of this conversation and connect with people.
Absolutely. And I think expanding on bringing your belonging, what we're referring to is how many times, especially when we're looking back to those like childhood wounds, when you're looking back, if you were like me, someone who really struggled with making friendships, I definitely had this insecurity about myself, about whether or not I was being included, if I belonged. I grew up with an older sister who was so much cooler than I was, and everyone wanted to be her friend. And so
you bring that into adulthood.
I absolutely have.
Not just you. I'm saying like everybody does.
I absolutely do. Like I definitely don't view myself the way that other people view me. And most of the time we don't. We don't really see how our friends view ourselves or view us. It is.
Right on the tapes.
We definitely do not see ourselves the way that our friends see us. And so where our friends are like, wow, she's so incredible. She's always like, you know, she's always on adventures and she's creative and she's so sweet, and or maybe she's like very fashionable and she's a go-getter and whatnot. A lot of times, like, I have found myself thinking that of somebody, but being so intimidated by that person.
Yeah.
And right? So you're just like, wow, like that person's so cool. Like I'm never going to be that way.
Intimidated by someone, that's a you thing to look at, right? And that's a big blocker of manifesting friendships, because it's like, I'm not good enough to be their friend because I'm intimidated by them.
Yes.
Instead of looking at yourself and like, okay, what sisterhood wounds do I need to clear? What around females, like I have one really great girlfriend, and she was so bullied when she was younger that she didn't feel safe to have female friendships. Let me tell you, we're humans, we're here to connect, we're meant to connect. And if you're that girl who's like, well, I just get along better with guys, so I'm just gonna be friends with guys, that is very clear that you have a sisterhood wound around females. And this is just a call in to look at that and not bring your past that is tainting all females and women, that they're all bullies, they're all catty, they're all gossipy, they're all jealous, they're all this and that, because it's not accurate, it's not true. Are there people like that are out there? Yes, but you're gonna remain an energetic match to them if you keep believing that, because that is your energetic signature. You believe that about women and females, so that's what you put out to the world. That is what you are gonna see, that is what you're gonna receive.
And it's very like, it is unnatural to not have a connection with a specific gender.
Yeah.
That is not natural. Like, if you have a hard time being friends with females, like you said, it is a wound. If you have a hard time being friends with males and thinking that you can't have a male connection who's a friend, that is also a wound.
And just go back. Is it from father or mother? Is it from sister or brother?
Is it both?
Is it from friends? Is it from teacher? Is it from coach? And then you labeled the specific gender as not safe. So this is just beautiful for you to really look back on to move forward. Where did you create those defense mechanisms that are actually blocking you from cultivating, creating, establishing beautiful friendships?
Absolutely.
So we're both living in Victoria, and before I moved to Victoria, I was told it's very cliquey and it's super hard to make friends there. And I just decided I'm not gonna let that narrative of the limiting belief of Victoria be my truth. And I didn't. I went in trusting and knowing I will manifest friendships just like every other city I had moved to that I had made friends. And like I said at the beginning, I kind of felt into why that was true. And it's like, yeah, if people have their hometown friends, they're not out making new friends. Their bandwidth, their capacity of having friendships is quite full. But guess what? People move to Victoria. There are other imports like ourselves that desire friendships. So I really got clear with the types of friendships I desired, because as an adult too, you're gonna want different friendships. Like, I didn't want to be going out and partying crazy every night, but I do want to have fun and go out and have a few drinks and dance and go for walks and go to the gym, go to yoga, go for hikes, go on adventures, go to the bougie spots in Victoria.
Yes.
So I was an energetic match to that. Did it take a lot longer here? Yeah, it took about a year. But in that year where I didn't have friends, I really realized I put so much worth of myself of having quantity of friendships versus quality. So it was almost like the universe was like, you need to heal in this time and be okay on your own and allow friendships to amplify everything within you. It was a very healing time for me when I didn't have friends. So if you're going through like a spiritual awakening, or you've moved somewhere, or you're just not connecting to your friends that you've had for a very long time, that's very normal. Just note that this time you're gifted this space for a reason, many reasons, and it's to really connect to yourself, because I bring the best, highest level version of myself to my friendship groups now and friendships because of that inner work time I had and did. And it happened so fast once I really got to shift through like these worthiness attachments to friendships and not feeling good enough on my own. The universe literally gifted me like a hit, like go to this gym. And I had tried so many different gyms in Victoria and never made like great friendships at them. And then all of a sudden it was like, go to this gym, BPM. And I went there and it just felt so good. It felt so right. And I started having conversations with this person and conversations with this person. Come have coffee with me here. And I like bring people together. I just always have. So it's like this girl group formed, and then all the girls started hanging out, and we have this massive girl group.
What is there, like 20 of us?
It's huge and it's beautiful, and different micro relationships within the macro group.
We have this big group at BPM, and what's so incredible about it is we are not all on the same trajectory, like with spiritual awakenings or energies or manifesting and whatnot. Like all of us have our different beliefs, all of us have our different viewpoints on things, but ultimately what brings us together is like doing our own version of inner work. Right? Every single one of us do some version of it because it's actually something that's very addicting and brings us together.
Yeah.
If you think about it, even like one of our friends who has been probably the most resistant to it, even she's like coming around slowly. And it's not like we're not trying to be like, you need to manifest, but like when we show examples of how
incredible our lives are.
Yeah, and how incredible our lives are, or even just like, oh my goodness, like this is something that I wanted, and it's something that like I've really changed my mindset around, and look how it's happened. She's just like, yeah, like absolutely, I can see. And so we're all brought together by the same, I would say same values.
Just like the solid girls, like women that listen, that care, that actually ask you how your day is, but like want to have a conversation with you, that smile, that invite you in. It's a very
deep connection of like, we're not looking for a superficial relationship in any capacity of our life, but especially with the people that we put energy and time into creating friendships and breaking down those walls. Like we search for more than just what's on the outside. We search, honestly, it's all about what's coming from within, and that's what's honestly brought every single one of these girls together in our group.
And like quick and fast and easy, because again, it's like we're all energetic matches to each other
in one way or another. They're not like, my relationship with Megs is not the same relationship that I have with any of those other girls. But that being said, I get something different from each and every one of those girls, because that's what friendships are about. Like Megs cannot be
everything
to me. I mean, she is everything to me, but
no, it's like you can't expect one friendship to fill all your buckets.
So as much as like, yes, we want to have quality over quantity, it's also important to have those different friendship buckets that we can reach into, because you'll be a friendship bucket in someone else's life, and you can get that little bit from someone. Like my relationship with each and one of those girls are going to be so
different, even from like the texting. Like certain friends, I only voice note. Certain friends I see once a week. Certain friends, they're only in a group setting. Certain are one-on-one. And that is the different dynamics of adult friendships, and especially when there's a lot of them.
I literally could not see them one-on-one every single week.
There would be not enough time.
That would be like a part-time job.
Yeah, it'd be aggressive. And that's why I love our group time, because it's like we're getting so many different of our friends all at once. And we have girl hangs every week.
Every weekend, whether it's a Friday or Saturday.
But I manifested that for sure.
True.
I for sure was like, I want like to hang out and do fun things all the time.
And then on top of that, we see each other at the gym minimum 2 times a week. So it's like we are in and out of each other's lives
quite a bit.
Getting different things from each other, whether we're pushing each other at the gym, whether we're having a quick
That's
catch up.
such a good point though. So friends that have similar interests with you, you can go to yoga, go to the gym with. So they fit so naturally and easy and beautifully into your life, where it's not like, again, oh, it's so hard and I have to make this time. It's like,
no,
they get to be in the time that you'd be doing things anyways.
Absolutely.
That's a really good point.
No, it's so true. We are... Yeah.
What do you like to do? Go make friends there. If you like to go to yoga, stay after class and talk to the people at yoga. Talk to the teacher. What did I say?
Yoga.
Did I say yoga? Did I actually?
You said yoga. Go to yoga.
So there's this new thing, it's called yoga. If you enjoy coffee, go to the coffee shop and talk to the people next to you. Like, you need to actually pursue and put yourself out there and have these conversations.
Yeah.
And then it's like dating. Like, you hang out with them and it's like, great, we vibe. No, we don't. You will know right away.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, the first time.
Especially as an adult, because you're more aware of like who you are and what you're bringing to the table. And so that person's either going to accept that energy or they're not going to accept that energy. And if it doesn't mesh, that's okay. We don't all have to get along in the same capacities. We can all be, you know.
And as you grow and evolve and you do your inner work, and that can look like journaling, it can look like going to counseling, it can look like being a part of programs and courses, you will get to know yourself more. You'll clear those defense mechanisms and you will become a different match to different friendships. Surface level ones, you're just not going to enjoy, because it's like, I need that depth, because you've gone deep within yourself. So let me tell you, if you're on this spiritual journey, you're on inner work, you're on healing childhood journey, wow, you're going to notice either I don't resonate with this person whatsoever, or I see this person as negative. I know so many of my clients, when we've done clinical hypnotherapy and they understand limiting beliefs, they're like, wow, I didn't notice how much my friends' limiting beliefs were around money or success or love. And it's like cringy, because it's not like they're being negative, but they are. It's
not necessarily on purpose. Your limiting belief isn't about bringing your friends down.
It's like the narrative running in your subconscious mind.
It's the same narrative as someone moving here and being like, you're never going to find friends because everyone's cliquey. Well,
that's your limiting belief.
You're sharing that with people, and you're actually deterring them or putting that in their brain that they're never going to make friends. Like,
and if you hear that over and over and over, and you don't understand the power of your subconscious mind, I would have let that in and I would have been a loner here, versus I was like, there's friends everywhere, there's people everywhere. Of course there's gonna be people who wanna be my friends. Like that, I was just so not letting that in. Return to sender, that's not my belief, that's not my narrative. So you better believe every action or inaction is led by belief. So if you believe I will never make friends, guess what? No action will be taken on your part to start those conversations, to go to the places that you want to go to, and ask people to go for coffee.
That's actually such a great point. Like, regardless, as we are on this series of manifesting relationships, like manifesting isn't necessarily just about like spiritual awakenings and energies. It's really a change of mindset.
That's a big part of it.
It's honestly the biggest part of it.
It is your subconscious mind.
Your mindset around the things that you're telling yourself that are stopping you from putting into action what you could have in the future.
So if you believe it's going to be hard to make friends, do you think you're going to feel like, oh, I can just like go to a restaurant and sit at the bar and like talk to the person I'm next to. No, you're like, nope, no one's gonna want to talk to me. You really have to look at what your beliefs are around making friends as an adult.
Yeah. If I would have walked into that gym, and part of me did in the beginning, but if I would have walked into the gym being like, Megs is never going to be my friend, she hates me, we're never going to get along, do you think I would have had the courage to go out with those group of girls knowing what a core person she was in there? No. I didn't want to set up that belief. And so as much as there was like an energy like repellent from each other, I was like, well, the only way I'm ever going to know if this is going to be a friendship is if I give it a chance. So you have to give yourself a chance. You can't put up walls for other people. Like we said in our last podcast, don't put up that wall before you even get a chance to give the relationship the chance that it deserves. If you meet with each other, if you have conversations, if you have hangouts, and you still don't quite feel that connection, that's okay. You're okay.
Yeah.
But give it a chance.
Yeah.
Give it your best shot. Give it your best mindset, your best energy. Bring your best self to the game. And I promise you, even if it doesn't work out, you're going to feel really good coming out knowing that you gave it your best shot.
100%. So even guys I've dated have talked about how hard it's been for them to like make friends if they're from Victoria.
Yes,
because
guys.
they didn't need to go make friends that they weren't in high school with. So guys, you're human. Just go ask the buddy for a beer. I don't know what you do, but it's not hard. You guys are hunters. You pursue women. Put that same confidence towards a guy, towards friends. And even like male friendships can manifest in different ways. Like go join a rec baseball team, okay? Go, like guys meet but like even if you start dating a girl, ask them to hang out with like the girl's boyfriends. Like, I'll tell you what, everyone has boyfriends. So we all have boyfriends. You can make friends that way. There's so many different ways you can make friends if you just make yourself available and trust it will come through. Like one of my best friends, he messaged me on Instagram. He was like, hey, I'm interested in RTT and clinical hypnotherapy. Can you tell me about it? I was like, yeah, for sure. And then we started chatting, literally best friends. I
love that.
An Instagram message. It can come in so many different ways and avenues. Do not cut yourself off from the different ways. If you're like, well, how? Like what? If you open yourself up to it, the ways that friends can flow in, it's just magical and beautiful.
And I mean, I know that Megs and I are not men, so we don't know that like exactly how your brain, your biology. I can assure you I'm not, nor do I identify. But it's, what I do think about too is I think that there are a lot of men who stay within these relationships even though they don't necessarily, like, I don't believe that men necessarily think to themselves within their friendships, does this friendship align with my goals?
Yeah, you're not feelers.
You guys are very much logical, and so I think
get into your feels.
When I think about, the males in my life that I know, it's like, okay, I don't necessarily like agree with what my buddy's doing, but he's really good to play video games with, so I'll just keep him around for video games. Like, I want you to understand that you can have so much deeper relationships if you put yourself out there and actually do think about whether you are getting what you need from your friendships.
Are you drained after you hang out with them? That was a big thing for me.
Absolutely.
If I feel drained after being around people, a certain person, I'm like, no. Or do you feel lit up?
Are they supporting your goals, or are they encouraging you to stay out till 4 o'clock in the morning, partying and drinking, knowing that you have certain goals that you are trying to hit? Are they helping you with that, or are they actually pulling you down and away from it?
Yeah, that's not an up-leveled relationship. As you up-level, if your relationships aren't up-leveling with you, trust and know there will be up-leveled relationships if you make yourself available for it.
Absolutely.
So, you want to manifest friends. Here's our call to action. I hate that word. Here's our encouragement.
You don't like call to action?
I feel like it's so overused.
Okay. Manifest.
I like that better than call to action.
Okay, use it for this one and then we'll keep it going.
Okay.
It'll
okay.
evolve.
Yeah, it
evolve.
will.
Yeah.
So your call to manifest those incredible friendships as an adult in your adult life is, where do you like to spend your time? So
Gym.
we like the gym, we like yoga, hiking. Go there, and two people.
So if you have a community within a gym, maybe you're signed up for a sport, perhaps you go to a restaurant or a coffee shop quite frequently to do work, or if you're in studies as a student, we want you to think of two people
That you just feel
absolutely
something
naturally
a
drawn.
little connection.
Is it the barista? Is it the person you see there every Tuesday?
that you smile at and never go up and say, hey, my name's actually Megan, and I've been smiling at you for the last 2 months. Should we start talking?
Absolutely. Why don't you buy them a cup of coffee the next time they sit down and just be like, hey, can I grab you a cup of coffee and let's sit down and have a chat?
Pursue. You're gonna pursue two people, and then just acknowledge where you've had limiting beliefs or wounds within friendships that you get to start to shift and be like, there are people that are kind, loving, supportive, an energetic match to my highest level that loves, supports, cares for me. And that's a huge thing. Like,
And something I want to mention too is this doesn't necessarily get any easier. I still get nervous talking to somebody new if I want to be their friend. It doesn't get easier. You actually just practice it more and you end up getting a little bit more confidence within yourself, knowing that if somebody is not open to that, that's not on you, that's on them.
100%.
So you need to put it into practice.
Yeah.
You still might get butterflies the first time you say hello to that person. You should. Are you nervous or are you excited that this could be your new best friend?
welcome, you're human, you're meant to feel. This
Yay,
is exciting.
we love
if you
that.
just want to like not feel, okay, you didn't come to Earth. to
Okay,
not feel.
robot. Like,
But such a good point. Like, I was nervous and excited all at the same time, but I would set intentions every time I would like meet with someone new. Like, I intend we're gonna have the greatest time, that we connect, make it be known if we're meant to continue to grow and expand in a
Absolutely.
relationship. Intentions are very powerful. They set you up.
say your words again. Eject.
Oh yeah, anyone not for my highest and greatest good, release them, eject them, remove them from my life. Make it be known. Goodbye, toxic people.
I love it. And that's just it. You're going to feel nervous, but I want you to remember that you belong there. You belong in that moment. You're the one who like gives yourself that confidence in that moment. Show up, bring your belonging in that moment. Know that you're meant to be there, and anyone who comes into your life from that moment forward was meant to be there.
Yes. Oh, we're so excited for you. Honestly, friendships in your adult life, they're just, I don't have words. I actually don't have words for how grateful I am for the friendships that I have in Victoria and this incredible group of girls. It's incredible. And our next episode, I'm really excited as well, is when you manifest the friendships, then navigating the friendships.
Yes.
Because there's seasons of friendships, there's different dynamics of friendships.
This one is probably going to be a little bit more on the emotional side, because as much as the pursuing is fun, it's the maintenance of friendships that sometimes can be a little bit tricky, because we need to know how each friendship works.
And communication.
Absolutely.
And people's capacity and bandwidth. Like, have you asked them, are you resourced? Do you have the time, the energy, and space to hear what I have to say? Like, things like that, where people are like, hello, I have a life here where I'm dealing with this, 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 and this. It's like, well, you didn't tell me. It's, you didn't ask.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll be getting into all of that, which we need to hear. I don't hear enough conversations about navigating friendships.
No, I don't either. And I think it's great because you and I can really show what our relationship
Yeah.
has been like through the past like 7-8 months.
Yeah.
And we're still navigating through it.
Yeah, we had our first non-fight fight the other day. It was really cute, actually. I don't even remember what it was, but she wouldn't tell me. I was like, no, tell me. And she's like, no, you're on timeout or whatever you said. And I was just like, okay. And then we were silent for like 5 minutes. I was like, are you ready now to tell me?
You're like, tell me when I'm older. And so she was 5 minutes older. She was less charged. I was less charged, and we were able to bring it together.
But that's the thing. It's like when you're in a charged, activated space, should you be having a conversation? No.
But it was funny because we were both laughing at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe nervous laughter. I don't know.
So we have a lot of great insights to share with you that we've been able to try on and utilize in our own friendships and our personal relationship and friendship. So very excited to support you in when you manifest those incredible relationships, or if you already have really great friendships but you're going through fights or challenges, or when someone is in a dark season in their life and it's like, well, what about me? And we can take a lot of things personal, and then it can taint some things. So we have a lot to support you there.
All right, guys. Well, have a wonderful, wonderful couple weeks. We will see you soon. Adios. Can I tee you?
Yeah.
Your phone is not set up again.
Mother of hell.